includes New York, New York, ever bustling, throbbing with energy, the most wonderful, vibrant city in the world. What makes it so? It has more of everything than any other city, and that includes educational and cultural resources. There are more libraries, books, museums, works of art, music than in any other educational center anywhere. What better place for a university? In New York, the university is St. John's, the largest Catholic university in the country, with an enrollment of more than 19,000 students on 2 campuses. Grimes Hill, one of the prettiest spots in New York, is the setting for the Staten Island campus. The more than 2,500 students here feel that they have the best of both worlds, an idyllic campus atmosphere and the resources of a major urban university. The main campus in residential Hillcrest, Queens, has more than 100 rolling acres. It's one of the few real campuses in New York City proper, yet the Manhattan skyline is clearly visible, not even 30 minutes away.
So, for example, if you advertise that you'll perform a personal bankruptcy for
Hosting a distinguished faculty, attracted in part by St. John's location in the heart of New York City, of equal interest to prospective students is the diversity of courses of study. At the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences alone, there are 36 separate majors and 35 minors, a genuine option-oriented curriculum. Varsity sports are an example of the stunning array of co-curricular and extracurricular activities that round out and augment the academic mix. There are clubs and programs meeting every cultural, sports, hobby, and religious interest. St. John's and its students are also well prepared for the age of computerization and high technology.
Gusto, el sentido del oído.
An extensive liberal arts curriculum is at the base of our education because St. John's believes a solid university education must have a hard core of academic subjects.
The verb, what kind of a verb was that?
But university life is not all classroom work, labs, and study. There's time for a quiet stroll with old friends or getting acquainted with a new one. An authentic Chinese pagoda-style building houses the Institute of Asian Studies, which provides students with background in the history, economics, literature, and intellectual traditions of the Far East.
Composition-wise, sometimes I feel that the cast could have been a little higher on a piece of paper. Here we are at the end, it's not contained. You know?
Although new computer labs and other high-tech facilities are springing up across the campus, tradition does not take a back seat at St. John's. Students can also apply themselves to the perennial focus of art classes the world over, the human figure. Chemistry, the basis for a career in many of the sciences and professions, including medicine, is a vital subject at the College of Pharmacy, considered to be one of the very best in the country.
Another adjustment on the previous appointment, the Faculty Council School of Ed. Unfortunately, I must remove work employee off from a representative.
Student government in action. At St. John's, students take an active role in the course of their own affairs. They make important policy decisions and set budgets in extracurricular activities.
Creating an ad hoc committee for the maintenance of student government-owned machines. The responsibilities of this ad hoc committee include
In selecting a university, it is not enough to judge just academic excellence and facilities, important though they are. It's vital to consider its national prominence and prestige, because this significantly affects the value of the degree.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great privilege and high honor to introduce the President of the United States.
There's nothing for us to say. The President will say it all.
For some time, I've been hearing about a university in New York that boasts among its alumni the governors of our two biggest states, Governor Mario Cuomo of New York and Governor George Deukmejian of California. I've heard that this university has the highest bar exam pass rate. Attracts more than 1,000 students a year from 88 countries on 6 continents of the earth. And that among its alumni are a third of one state legislature and more than 250 judges. Naturally, I wanted to see the new Harvard. And it's also true that I wanted to see the school that some people are saying is just a number one, top of the heap, king of the hill.
Founded in 1870 by the Vincentian Fathers, St. John's became the opportunity school for children of the immigrant poor and their dreams.
They arrived without funds, without knowing the culture or the language. But they came here in search of something more precious than all of these. They came for freedom. They came not demanding the best that America had to offer, but willing to accept even the worst. Like millions before and after, they sought hope and opportunity. It was the promise of a better and a more secure life. And no words can describe it other than a dream fulfilled.
We're not always happy with what we do, those of us who think of ourselves as politicians and public servants. But in the moments between the criticisms, in the quiet pauses when we're allowed private thought, those times of reflection that console and renew us, I like to think that I am a public servant because the Vincentians and St. John's taught me to be. And to the extent that we've been able to do any good at all, and that surely can be debated, I believe it's because St. John's taught us to respond to the challenge of being the King's good servant, but God's too.
St. Vincent de Paul's and the Vincentian traditions still thrive at St. John's. One sure sign, tuition that's affordable, not restrictive, the lowest of any private university in New York State. Since the days of Bishop Lachlan, generations of Vincentians have guided St. John's. From the original small wooden building, they took her to newer and bigger structures. 1928 saw more Vincentians and a high-rise facility in downtown Brooklyn. And the 1950s, groundbreaking for today's Queens campus. All the while, St. John's was busy producing leaders.
These are gifted men. They go with the commitment of St. John's sons, St. John's daughters, that excellence must prevail from coast to coast, with St. John's leading California and St. John's leading New York. I'm well aware that as far as true value is concerned, the true value of this collection is that it rests in St. John's, where students at some time may pursue it and find out that a St. John's man, if he follows his alma mater, can make it to the highest office in our state and to serve in the highest legislative body in our nation.
In today's world, can a person be truly educated without an international experience? The St. John's answer, College Europa.
Comparisons between, the Soviet bloc countries and ourselves. And there are a lot of differences. Some things aren't as different as we thought.
It was a lovely country, lovely people. I'd like to visit it again.
We met with the Pope, and I was kind of excited because he blessed me.
Now St. John's prepares for the challenges of tomorrow, the unlimited but still unshaped opportunities of the 21st century. Already St. John's has begun to utilize many new and exciting ways of learning and communicating. The Television Center, rivaling network TV studios, is the most technically advanced college television facility in the nation. Nothing in all collegiate sports is more exciting than when the legendary Redmen take to the court in Alumni Hall. One of the winningest teams in basketball history, they've played in more postseason tournaments than any other team in the country. The exuberant energy, the vitality, the non-stop excitement that is New York, New York, has permeated St. John's with its pace and rhythms. St. John's is more than a part of New York. It is New York. This, the greatest city in the world, the premier cultural center, the business and financial headquarters of the globe, is in effect an extended campus of St. John's. And almost all of the unimaginably vast facilities of New York are resources for the St. John's student. Yes, the city is New York, and the university is St. John's.